Welcome to November. I've got the week off from work this week, so my plan is mostly a chill, get my flat in order, and do my version of NaNoWriMo, which is basically just doing morning pages but still trying to write 50,000 words in whatever form in the month of November, and I would like to get some reading done. I tentatively am thinking of reading smart this week, but also I don't know what I'm going to feel like, and I'll just kind of play it by ear since my TBR is very loose this week. Right, so I've got Rose Patreon sprints on at the moment, and I was reading American King, but I'm enjoying it so much that I keep stopping and being like, it's so good, that I have gotten the Switch and I'm going to try and listen to it on audiobook so I can actually focus and read it, because I'm loving it so much and I don't want to keep stopping, and also I want to play Animal Crossing. So, two birds, one stone. Yay! So I've set myself a 1 hour timer and I'm going to try and develop my... Sorry, bees watching me, I'm feeling self-conscious. I'm going to try and develop my NaNoWriMo story, as I had a bit of a spark of inspiration before I went to bed this morning. So I just want to see how much I can expand on it in the hour that I've given myself. Since I spent most of yesterday trying to work through my NaNoWriMo and get the story clear in my head, I feel like I'm at kind of a thorny part anyway, so I need to figure out what comes next. But anyway, I spent basically the whole of yesterday hyperfixated on this story, and I'm considering I'm off work this week, I'd hope to get through more reading than I am, so I'm just kind of spending my time listening to the audiobook of American King whilst playing some Animal Crossing, which is quite nice, I think. And we've gotten to a bit in the book, and because I know something that happens, I'm like, oh no, because I can see what's gonna happen now. I'm pretty sure I now know how the thing I know is gonna happen is gonna happen. I'm really enjoying it, and as often happens when I read retellings, I now want to read the source material, but it's a chunk, because I'm pretty sure it's Le Mort d'Arthur or something, I think it's called, and it's that thick. But I do have a copy on my bookshelves. I'm just no. As much as I've got a chill TBR for this month, I don't think I can get away with reading a chunk. I don't know. But it's definitely it's spicy, but also it gets you in the feels. So that's a really enjoyable series. And I'm almost definitely going to be reading the two books that come after, which I think they're novellas, but I haven't looked into them particularly hard.
Of honor and courage into the dictionary with a white knife and red blood. I should have listened, Emery said over and over again. I should have listened. It's my fault. His guilt filled him like water, and blood, and I.
Somehow, knowing this moment was coming in this book didn't make it any less impactful. I'm sitting here sobbing whilst I play Animal Crossing and listen to it. But I love it so much. I'm happy to say that the thing that I thought was a spoiler kind of wasn't, because there was like a final twist. And I'm so happy with how American King ended, and it just makes my heart so full, which is something I never expected from a spicy book. And now I think I'm going to try and get my head down and work through the tangle in the story I'm writing for NaNoWriMo. Like, I've had a little bit of an idea about something I want to add into the story, but I'm still not sure how the third act of the story is going to go. Like, I think I've got the first 2 acts, but then I'm also not sure, because I'm not sure how meaty the stuff that I've kind of come up with is going to be. I'm back on trying to write this story because it wants to get out of my head, I think. But also I know that I need to take time and let it percolate, because like even being on day 3, I'm already seeing how it's developed from when I first had the idea. So I had like, it was literally like a 1-line idea that I had when I was at work on, I want to say Saturday morning. And from that 1-line idea, it's developed into like me having pages and pages of notes and like a skeleton of it. But I know that I need to give it time, and it's so difficult to have the patience to give the story time to marinate and improve. But I did write like a rough skeleton, and I know that it's going to be subject to change. Things might, as I'm writing, things might not feel quite right. But I did like a 1,000-word outline type thing in the early hours of the morning, and then from that outline I've kind of like broken it down into like one like summary things of like 1 to 3 sentences long, and then I've sort of said that that's like chapters, and what I've ended up with is what looks to be 45 chapters, although I'm not sure if the final chapter is going to be an epilogue, which makes it feel like less daunting, I want to say, because if it's 45 chapters long, I only need to write 1,000 words for each one of these chapters, which until I actually write, I obviously am not going to know how that feels. But considering that I'm on day 3, and between my rambling streams of consciousness and like actually working on the story, I have written over 10,000 words. I think it's okay to feel cautiously optimistic. I do know that I need to like stop though. Well, I don't need to stop. I don't know, it feels like I should stop and I should maybe read for a bit. Like, I definitely think that any writing that I do is going to be improved by, pausing and reading something else. But for the moment, I think I want to work on characterization a bit more. Like, I've got an idea in my head of like roughly how old the characters are, or at least roughly how old most of the characters are. Character genders, if gender applies to a character. I mean, everyone's bi, so I don't need to worry about that. Well, I say bi, like, I use bi as like a convenient catch-all. Whether they're bi or pan or omni, I'm not completely clear in my mind, but essentially gender doesn't matter to any of the characters in terms of attraction. So like I know that, but this is the weirdest thing. Like I've got these characters and like I've got a detailed like map of their relationships and all that, and only 2 of my characters even have names yet. So that's one of the key things I want to work on, is figuring out what the hell these characters are going to be called. But I'm hoping it's like 25 to 6 now, so I'm hoping if I give myself 25 minutes, that might be enough time to at least come up with some names. I'm kind of mad at myself right now. So I've like gone back to my original thing where like I came up with the characters, and I've been getting the only 2 name characters I have so far, I've been getting them mixed up. So now I've got like all the relationships are plotted incorrectly. I don't know if that's gonna like affect things massively, but I guess not. I guess it made sense. I don't know. So I'm back at it with this NaNoWriMo stuff. I think I'm sort of at this, like I'm simultaneously at the 0 draft, which I didn't even know was a thing. And like Shannon keeps mentioning 0 draft and I'm like, But I've just looked it up and I'm like, okay, so I'm kind of at the 0 draft, but I'm also kind of at the first draft stage, I'd say. Like it's weird because I think this is going to be a story that like, as I write it, I figure out where it's going. Because right now I've got an idea of where I think it'll go, but it feels like the story needs to breathe and be fully explored before I know where it's going to go. And it also feels like the more I talk about it, the more elements I think would work for it. So I kind of have possibly what's considered a 0 draft, although I'm not sure. Like I didn't realise that what I'm doing is basically 0 drafting for NaNoWriMo. But I'm feeling pretty good about what I've got, and I'm thinking that what I need to do is really just like sit down and start writing pieces, because there's some chapters that I've got a really clear idea in my head of what they're going to be. There's some chapters that like I have an idea, but it feels like once I start writing it, I'll get a feel for it. And then there's some chapters I'm like, no idea. I know that thing needs to happen in that chapter, but I'm not really sure how it's going to go down. It's 4:30. I'm away to turn on some candles and I want that kind of ambience, hence the lack of light. But my body's gone, screw you, you're going to sleep the whole damn day away. So here we are, 4:30 in the evening. Having gone to sleep at probably about 1 a.m. Still feeling slightly tired, but knowing that I'm not going to let my whole day go down the toilet. And now I'm thinking I'm going to put 3 candles on, have an ambience, try and write for a bit, because why not? And just have a really chill evening, because oh, that sky is gorgeous. Because yeah, I'm just going to try and not be mad at myself. So I actually I completely forgot that Becca's got dice sprints tonight, so my plan is to read like whatever I'm fancying tonight, and then my switch for whenever she rolls a double is going to be writing. So hopefully I'll actually get some reading done tonight, because I think I've been struggling to kind of balance the desire to write and also making sure I get some reading done. And I'm just generally feeling like today's gone down the bin because I slept in so late. So I'm hoping that having a really cozy evening can help lift my mood, because I am feeling pretty awful right now, to be honest. Okay, so I've very definitely not had the evening I planned to. I've just been so distracted. But also, I'm currently reading Cards of Love Moon or something. I don't know, it's technically a companion novel to the new Camelot series, but I'm having real difficulty with it because, like, the characters it follows are, well, characters you've met in New Camelot, but the age gap is just really, like, sending me over the edge. Like, the younger character is 18 when they get together, and then the older character, I think, is 27. So it's like, technically it's legal, but like 18 and 27 is a hella age gap. And then, like, add into that the fact that, like, a big deal is made out of her being a Catholic schoolgirl, and it's like crossing the line into fetishization. And so I'm having a lot of trouble, like, getting any enjoyment out of this book, which is really weird because the rest of the new Camelot series I really enjoyed, but also it didn't feel as gross. Don't know how to describe it, because it's like, obviously everyone's got their own kinks and stuff, but I think there's such an issue with the fetishization of Catholic schoolgirls that to add it into this book just takes any kind of appeal away for me. So I think it's really interesting that I've just noticed that essentially what this vlog's doing is tracking my descent into a blue week, really. I hate that, like, the depression's hit me on a week off, but that could be because I don't have a routine this week because I've got a week off from work. I have nothing in place to give me any structure. And because of that lack of structure, what's ended up happening is I've become hyperfixated on NaNoWriMo. I think I've written like 12,000 words between like my initial like 0 draft document, my character creation document, and my actual like trying to draft this story that I've got in my head. So that's kind of, I've fixated on that, and that in turn has had an effect on my mood, as like I felt like that hyperfixation has meant that I haven't put my energies into other parts of my life. And whilst it's now like almost Friday, so I don't know if it's going to be able to actually help me for the rest of like my time off, because my week off is almost over. I do think it's interesting for me to see that possibly this lack of structure has contributed to my mood dipping, and what I need to do is try and be a lot more strict with myself. Like, I think I said earlier in the video about like trying to stop myself from like writing so much and fixating so much, but I think I didn't realise at that point, and I'm now realising in hindsight, that I need to do that. I need to tell myself that I'm not allowed to spend whole days on things. As much as like my story's exciting me, if I lose a whole day to writing, I'm still going to feel down on myself, even though I've got this story that excites me. I think that's really interesting as well. It's now like 22 minutes past 11, so B will be home soon. But I think I'm going to try and actually spend what's left of today, because I think I want to be in bed by probably no later than about 2. I would say midnight, but like I don't eat till B's in, and I know that's crazy late to eat, but I can't wrap my head around the idea of like having food without him, especially if I'm also in. I'm not so bad at eating without him if I've got work, but my brain can't compute the idea of having my evening meal at a separate time from him when I'm not in work. So anyway, like I still need to eat. Otherwise I'd be like, oh, I'll just like I'll stay up till midnight and then go to bed. So yeah, I think I want to try and get in bed by 2 a.m. And then I want to try and actually get up when my alarm goes off at 9 a.m. in the morning, or like as early as I can, like as early as I recognise that my alarm has gone off, and just try and do something with my day. I'm hoping that I can finish the book I'm currently reading, like the one I'm not enjoying, just so that it is finished. It's only about 85 pages. And I would say I think I'm about 30 pages in, so I've got about 50 pages left, but it's taking me a lot longer than books normally take. Well, it's taking me a lot longer than it normally would to read. And then I've just got American Squire to read, which I've no idea how long that is. And then I'll be finished with the new Camelot series and I can move on to something else. And that something else is probably going to be Iron Widow, because, well, this is a book that I've highly anticipated for this year. And then, like, everyone that's reading it at the moment is absolutely adoring it. And I want to be able to, like, give my full focus to it and be able to just binge read it if I want to. I finally managed to finish Cards of Love, The Moon, which was Merlin and Nimue story from the new Camelot series, and it just didn't do it for me at all. It's such a shame because I really enjoyed the new Camelot series, but it just was a really like uncomfortable story for me, because it just felt like I know it's taboo and whatnot, but the consent felt dubious because like one of the characters had been captured, so it's like, can they really give their full consent when they've been captured by another character? So it was just like layer upon layer of like iffiness to it, which is fine, like if that's what you enjoy, but I couldn't get into it. And also I think the fact that like these characters have a connection, but I need to see it on the page. Like I need to feel like the characters actually have a connection. So it just wasn't great. And now I'm going to read American Squire, and then I will have finished the new Camelot series. And then I think my plan is to just like work my way through the rest of the stuff I've borrowed on Kindle Unlimited. I think I've got like all 3 of the Tea Dragon Society graphic novels. And I've also got, I think it's like 4 short story collection books. No. I've got, I think it's like 4 short stories that are like true stories or something. It's like the Amazon This Can't Be Happening, I think it's called. I'm sure I've got other stuff, but that's kind of my plan, and at some point today I need to do some more writing. It's about 5:30 now, and I've got some more candle making supplies, and I had a bit of an idea yesterday that it's not going to be a particularly unique idea, but it was something I wanted to try out. So I'm thinking of giving myself between half an hour and an hour to continue writing, and then being really strict with myself and saying that I need to stop there. Whether I come back later, I don't know, but I think I need to just limit how much I'm writing at one time to try and stop myself from hyperfixating on things. So that's kind of my plan at the moment. I'm actually feeling relatively okay. In no way is what I'm writing good, but I'm trying to tell myself that if I don't write anything, I've got nothing to edit. But if I write something, even if it's rubbish, I have something there to go back and tweak and improve. But it's hard. I'm the classic former gifted child, so I don't do well at not being perfect on first attempt, which it sounds really big-headed, but the way that gifted children are treated, it's just, it makes really not very functional adults. But back to the writing, and then who knows.
Raindrop on the blacktop, heart stop, feeling like a robot. Swipe left, scroll down, same chick, but you're living in a new town. Am I the issue? I'm the original. Cute face, but you got no taste. Wouldn't trade it for its weight in gold. One of these days, one of these days, someone's gonna love me right. One of these days, maybe I can get it right. One of these days, someone's gonna love me right. One of these days, someone's gonna love me right.
Okay, so it's a little bit after midnight. Literally, it's just turned midnight. And I think I read maybe 57 pages yesterday. So I finished that Cards of Love book, and then I started American Squire. And I don't know if I'm just done with this series, so it's not holding my interest. I don't know if the page count for these books is off, so I'm feeling like I'm not making any progress, or if the author just doesn't write very compellingly in novella form, but I'm not loving them, which is a shame because I really liked the core trilogy in the new Camelot series. But I guess I know not to keep too much of an eye out for whatever comes next, because there was hints of them being further books in the series, but I think stick to American Queen, American Prince, and American King. I wouldn't recommend reading the other books based on my experience, but then I don't read a lot of spice, so maybe other people would enjoy them. I just don't think the novellas compare to the full-length novels. So I think this week's been a weird one, because on one hand it feels like I haven't got much done. I've spent most of the week asleep and kind of watching my mood drip. and watching my mood dip. But on the other hand, when I think about it, like I've read a full novel and 2 novellas, and like I'll probably get a few more books read this weekend. I'm hoping so, but then I woke up after 5 p.m. again today, so who knows. But I've also managed to write like 15,000 words for NaNoWriMo. So it's a weird one. I'm hoping that I have a better week next week. It'll be interesting to see if not being on holiday next week, so having the structure of work, actually helps me like not feel so down in myself. But before I wrap up the video, I thought I would show you some quite cool book mail that I got today. Well, so I ordered a bookmark that I've had my eye on for a while because it's just cute as anything. My copy of Nichan Smile finally arrived, and also I've got my October FairyLoot, so it's going to be a little bit of a FairyLoot unboxing, but I'm also going to show off my new bookmark and the FaeCrate exclusive version of Nichan Smile. So the bookmark is from BillieHelenCreations. I've been following her on Instagram for a while, and like her art is beautiful, and she does some really cool like bookmarks and art pieces. And also she just seems like a really great human being. So this is the bookmark that I ordered. So it's all these like cute little penguins in hats, and it just looks so adorable, and you can get it laminated or not, but I thought, considering I'm out and about with my books a lot and I want to keep it nice because it's such a beautiful bookmark, I would get it laminated. I think you only pay like an extra 50p. So I will link her in the description down below. Definitely check out her store. She has lots of really cool things in there. And then the FaeCrate exclusive of Nichan Smile is so much better than I could have ever imagined. So first off, it comes with a book plate, which obviously I haven't popped in the book yet, but nice little book plate. You can see it's got like a little floral design, I think, around it. And the book itself comes in a slipcase. So this is the front of the slipcase, your spine of the slipcase, and this is the rear of the slipcase. And as you can see, you've got the smile, which I believe is the same imagery as is on the standard naked hardback. And then when you take it out of the slipcase, this is the front. So we've got the standard cover, and this is the reverse, which obviously says it's a FaeCrate exclusive. And you can see it has like bronzy, oh, I've just realised I haven't put my light on. There we go. You can see it's got like bronzy gilded edges, which I think is beautiful. So obviously the dust jacket you can take off, and there is art on the reverse of the dust jacket. But the thing that's really like impressed me is look at this gorgeous naked hardback that is so beautiful. And then like that's your spine, and then that's the reverse. And it does come with like art inside. So like the first few pages I've got pieces of art of Gus and Domino. I think the only slight critique of this book I will have is that I'm having to individually peel apart every single one of the pages, which I feel like could have been done, you know, before it was sent out. Like it would have been nice if I didn't have to peel the pages apart myself. But also it doesn't feel like it's taking too much effort to peel those pages apart, so it probably could be done whilst reading and like wouldn't be too much of an issue. And now to get into my FairyLoot unboxing. So kind of as always, well, I say as always, I generally know what the book is going to be in the box. I don't know what December's going to be because the places that do spoilers seem to be a bit conflicted over what the books are going to be. But I definitely know what this month's book is, especially because my box has been one of the later batches, so I've already seen people kind of get their boxes. I've seen people talk about it, and I've seen people already put up unboxings. I haven't watched any yet, so apart from the fact that I know what the book is, I haven't been spoiled at all. So let's see what's inside. Okay, so kind of unusually, but you can actually see something right on the top. And it says Kingdom of the Wicked. I think these boxes have been short stocked. Is that the term? Okay, so the item we could see on the top was a Kingdom of the Wicked blanket, and it's designed by Forensic and Flowers. Okay, let's see what this blanket looks like. It feels quite thin, like it's really soft, but it's quite thin as blankets go. So I think it's a dagger. I can't actually tell. Yeah, looks like you've got a snake and a dagger, and it's really weird proportions. Like, this feels like quite a narrow blanket. Like, I'm not mad at it, and obviously this isn't like a full unboxing, so I won't put a full photo in. But it seems to be that you've got a snake and a sword. It's pretty. I just think, like, if you're gonna put a blanket in, I want it to be like a usable, proper blanket, and that one, it's a bit narrow, it's a bit thin. So I appreciate the effort, but doesn't quite do it for me. And then next we have it's a little postcard for We Set the Dark on Fire. I think if you've watched any of my unboxings, you know my feelings on like things like this, like art prints, like pretty as they are. I don't feel like they should be included as items because it just feels like you're including something to make up the item amount. Okay, so I'm looking in my box right now and I think I've got one item in the book, and I am aware these boxes have been potentially sent missing an item, but if that's all I've got remaining in this box, I am unimpressed. I'm going to take everything out just to check. Yeah, I've got tarot cards, and I have a feeling these are possibly A Song of Wraith and Ruins. Oh wait, no, I think they're Raybearer actually. Yeah, I think they're Raybearer because this character's got a scar down the side of his face. Oh, I hope we get like the full Council of 11. That would be really cool because they often do like the same fandom multiple months in a row, and I just absolutely adore Raybearer. And I'm going to be disappointed if they aren't Raybearer, but that's what I think they are. Yeah, like literally I've got a book and like this is all that's remaining items wise. I'm going to say up front I'm super disappointed by this box if that's all I've got. So we've got a trinket dish and it's Addie LaRue. It's not like, it's not the worst, but it's also like, I feel like that looks not quite right. Like, I'd like that to be in the black and bronze, black and gold of the rest of the trinket dish. But I'm not massively mad at it, but I'm not also like overjoyed. I am like, bloody hell. Like, I know this box is missing stuff, but a trinket dish, and a blanket is basically all you get. Because the final item is Once Upon a Broken Heart character cards, which in my mind are like, I see them almost as like pre-order swag. I don't know if they are pre-order swag, but because, I mean, if you don't already know, Once Upon a Broken Heart is the book that's featured in this month's box, and like, I'm not going to count an item that comes with the book, basically. I don't know what I'm trying to say. Well, there's lots of them. Many. Yeah, I don't give a toss, to be honest. It sounds really shady, but you could put in a fandom item that is going to actually like interest me. Like, give me a full set of, I still don't know if these are actually Raybearer, but like, give me a full set of Raybearer character cards. Don't give me a set of character cards for a book that I won't have read yet because the copy's coming in this month's box. Like, I know that FairyLoot likes to put in fandom items for books that they've featured in their box previously, but it feels like it's jumping the gun to put in a fandom item for a book they're featuring in this month. And like, I'll have to look it up, but I wouldn't be surprised if there's actually like pre-order swag for Once Upon a Broken Heart. Okay, I can't immediately see if there was pre-order swag or not, but I just feel like that's an item that we're getting because we're getting the book. So basically, we're going to have had like 3 proper items plus an art card, which feels a lot lighter than normal. Like, I thought FairyLoot was basically a 5 item box, but maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. I may have just spoilt myself for what the book looks like. Obviously, I know what the book is. Oh, it's pink. Yeah, that's just left a bad taste in my mouth. Like, ugh. I'm mega disappointed. Right, so it comes with an art card and an author letter, which is standard. Can you tell I'm really annoyed? Like, what even is this box? Like, the only thing I'm really happy with, and that's assuming these are Raybearer, is these art cards. Oh dear. Anyway, right. So this is your book. It's like pink. Like, ugh. I do not like the colour scheme one bit. We have pinky stenciled edges. We have a massive tip-in page. Art on the end papers. Foiled fancy pants. Foiled. I'm just like, I just could not care less. Oh dear. Oh, that's your art. Yeah, this is probably like my shadiest unboxing yet, but by making one of your items a Once Upon a Broken Heart item, it's just taken any kind of excitement I possibly could have had for this book away from it. Also, all of these characters look like straight up children, and I'm like, like, I know it's YA, but it just feels too YA. Oh gosh, that's Rosie Thorns, isn't it? That's the other end papers as well. I mean, this is not a book that I would have bought for myself. If I saw this book in the shop, I'd be like, no, it's really very pink. And, you know, fair play if you like pink, but this just doesn't appeal to me in the slightest. Anyway, that was a good box, eh? Let's have a look at the spoiler card and see what we're actually missing and if this box should have been better. Oh, so the item we were missing was a keychain. So it wasn't even like it was a big item. I really hope we get more of the Raybearer Tarot cards, because that would make me so happy. But I can say without a doubt that my favourite item from this box are the tarot cards. Make of that what you will. So I'm sorry to end this vlog on a bit of a down note, but honestly, that as FairyLoot goes, that was a pretty weak box, I have to say. Let me know what you think of this box. Because I would love to know some opinions. Like, I imagine if you're a fan of Stephanie Gerber, I think that's the name of the author. I don't know. I imagine if you're a fan of Caraval and this book's one that excites you, this box wouldn't have been as much of a disappointment, but I haven't read Caraval, and the only reason I'll probably even read this book is because it's come in this book box. Like, it's not one that probably would have been on my radar otherwise. But hopefully I will have a better week next week. And until then, bye!
There's a place in my heart